stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. urges the Senate to thoroughly scrutinize the Maharlika Investment Fund Bill as it already reached the Senate.
A lawmaker urges the House of Representatives panel to seek probe on several brokers, importers, and facilitators following the rampant smuggling of agricultural products in the country.
Several senators hit the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation for not banning Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs that are allegedly involved in criminal activities in the country.
And Australia signs contracts to purchase and invest in underwater sea mines worth up to 1 billion Australian dollars in efforts to deter potential aggressors.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, January 23, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harley Delgado.
First in the news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. urges the Senate to thoroughly scrutinize the Maharlika Investment Fund Bill. The bill has already reached the Senate. Rosalie Coos reports.
The proposed Sovereign Wealth Fund, or also known as Maharlika Investment Fund Bill of the Marcos administration, has reached the Senate. It was Senator Mark Villar who filed the Senate Bill number 1670. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. has urged the Senate to thoroughly scrutinize the proposed bill. He made a statement during the media interview in Malacanang Palace on Monday, January 23.
Ang message ko sa Senado, suriin ninyo ng mabuti para maganda yung batas natin.
The chief executive reiterated he wanted the bill to be passed rightfully. PBBM also said he trusts the senators.
Hindi naman dapat imadali dahil napaka-importante lahat ng mga bawat salita na ilalagay mo doon sa batas na yun. May kabuluhan yun. Hindi mo basta't pwedeng, tama na yan, okay na. Kailangan talagang pag-aralan na mabuti. Malaki naman ang tiwala ko sa mga senador. Alam naman nila yung kanilang trabaho. Pag-aaralan talaga nila na mabuti yan. And that's the process. Tama yun. Ako sa akin, mas importante na maging tama kaysa maging mabilis.
Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri expects the bill to be passed after the long holiday in April. Rosalie Coos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Department of National Defense or DND Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. has recommended to the Senate to remove the fixed terms for key officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP. Galvez said Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri supports their recommendation. Instead of using fixed term, they will use the term extended tenure of service. Galvez said if the Senate adopts the recommendation on the amendments of Republic Act 11709 or the Act strengthening professionalism in the AFP, the career management of AFP officers will be flexible and not absolute.
So there is no such thing as a fixed term already. Yun ang namin kuma-adapt yun para at least talagang hindi maging absolute, magiging flexible yung tinatawag nating career management ng ating mga key officers.
It can be recalled that Galvez admitted that there are grumblings in the AFP due to the implementation of Republic Act 11709. Among those who will be included in the fixed term are the AFP Chief of Staff, Vice Chief of Staff, Deputy Chief of Staff, Head of Major Services in the Army, Navy and Air Force, Unified Command, and Inspector General. The fixed term may affect the promotion or career development of the other officers of the AFP.
Meanwhile, the Makabayan Bloc has filed a joint resolution seeking an immediate suspension of onion importation. According to lawmakers, the harvest season for onion is already near and importing onions would affect local farmers. In a statement, Gabriela Women's Party List Representative Arlene Brosa said importation is not the sole solution for the rising prices of onion. She said there is a long-standing issue of price manipulation, profiteering and hoarding of onion cartels and large traders. House Joint Resolution number 18 was filed after President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. directed the importation of over 21,000 metric tons of onions in hopes to lower onion prices in the markets.
A House of Representatives panel begins probe on the rampant smuggling of agricultural products in the country. During the hearing, a lawmaker has requested the House panel to seek probe on several brokers, importers, and facilitators. Irene Cerudo will tell us why.
Sultan Kudarat 2nd District Representative Horacio Swansing Jr. has identified 10 individuals and firms allegedly involved in agricultural smuggling. During the House Committee on Ways and Means hearing, Representative Swansing Jr. named a certain Michael Ma, Lu Jin Ang, Andrew Chang, Beverly Perez, a certain Aaron, Manuel Tan, Leia Cruz, June Diamante, Lucio Lim, and Jerry Teves as alleged smugglers.
I, as principal author of House Resolution number 11, would like to request the Committee on Ways and Means to issue subpoenas for the following brokers, importers, facilitators allegedly involved in large-scale agricultural smuggling in local ports and around the Philippines.
The lawmaker also requested the House panel to summon the said individuals for an inquiry to prove whether they have involvement in the rampant smuggling of agricultural products in the country or not. Swansing also requested records and documents from the Department of Agriculture or DA and Bureau of Customs or BOC on several consignees. He reiterated that agricultural smuggling has been a burden to Filipinos, especially amid the rising commodity prices and supply shortage.
In view of this request, I will divulge in due time pertinent information on this individual and personalities which would make relevant this request to the committee and to the concerned government agencies.
Meanwhile, Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda shares the same sentiment and reported that government losses due to smuggling amounts to an average of 5 billion pesos. He also received information about the agricultural smuggling in the country.
We also received top-level intelligence from key informants whose inputs we will release in proper time.
The House Committee will continue its probe on the issue next week. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Migrant Workers announced that the Saudi OGR has extended the deadline for the registration of overseas Filipino workers to claim their back pay for the unsettled salaries and benefits. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
Over 130 migrant workers who were part of the group of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's OGR claimants from 2015 to 2016 went to the office of the Department of Migrant Workers or DMW in Mandaluyong City to have a dialogue. DMW Undersecretary for Policy and International Cooperation, Patricia Kaunan, meets the said migrant workers and asks claimant on their concerns on the process for the back pay.
Nasabi nila sa atin yung kanilang mga concerns, issues, user experience. Kasi Janice, yung iba sa kanila, either, for example, sinasabi, claim is not available, or may error yung page, or yung iba sa kanila nasunugan na ng records, na nabahana kasi ang tagal na di ba? I think 7 years na ito.
The Saudi Arabian government first asked the assistance of the DMW to update some personal information and requirements of the claimants through the registration on the link or website provided by the Saudi OGR company. DMW assures that the department also has the list of OFW claimants to ensure that they will still receive their back pay even if they have problems with their documents.
Ang maganda, may listahan din ng OWA. Meron din tayong sarili nating listahan. So sa part ng department at ng OWA, mag-uusap rin kami ng sarili nating siguro mangyayaring verification at updating At sinabi natin to sa ating counterpart. May listahan sila, meron ding listahan ng Philippine government.
Meanwhile, DMW said that Saudi Oger Company agreed to extend the deadline of processing and submission of requirements of OFW's claimants' back pay.
Nung una ang deadline January 19. So humingi ang Department of Migrant Workers ng extension at napagbigyan tayo ng Kingdom of Saudi Arabia na move ang extension mula January 19 naging January 31 na ngayon.
Janice Enhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And foreign news abroad. 10 people have been killed and another 10 left wounded after a mass shooting in Monterey Park, California. Charis Longbowen will give us the details live. Good evening, Charis.
Good evening, Elsie. The shooting occurred late night on Saturday, January 21, at a dance hall in the largely Asian American community of Monterey Park. The wounded, in varying conditions from stable to critical, have been transported to nearby hospitals. The suspect has been identified as 72-year-old Hu Kantran, who died of a self-inflicted wound during a standoff with the police. Tran's white cargo van was identified outside of Los Angeles in Torrance and was surrounded by police vehicles to prevent him from driving away. The police heard a gunshot upon approaching the van, and his dead body was later found in the driver's seat. Several items in the van linked the suspect to Monterey Park and to an incident at another dance hall in Alhambra, as officials continue to investigate whether the two events were connected. The police cannot confirm yet whether the shooting was racially motivated or caused by other factors. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Charis Longbowen, reporting live from Japan. Wu Zunyu, the chief epidemiologist at the China Center for Disease Control and Prevention, said last Saturday, January 21, that the mass movement of people during the Lunar Year holiday period may spread the pandemic, and there is a possibility of a large-scale COVID-19 rebound in China over the next 2 or 3 months. The statement came as hundreds of millions of Chinese people have traveled across the country for holiday reunions. Fears have risen of new outbreaks in rural areas that are less equipped to manage large numbers of infections. The ongoing wave of epidemic has already infected 80% of the population. Nearly 60,000 people had died in hospitals as of January 12 because of COVID-19, according to government data, roughly a month after China abruptly dismantled its zero-COVID policy. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Elsie. Several senators hit the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or PAGCOR, for not banning Philippine offshore gaming operators, or POGOs, that were allegedly involved in criminal activities in the country. Lawmakers also criticized the agency for contracting a questionable third-party auditor that checks the taxes being paid by POGOs to the government. This report will tell us why.
Some senators expressed dismay on the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or PAGCOR, for not canceling the licenses of several Philippine offshore gaming operators, or POGOs, that have been tagged in illicit activities. Senate Committee on Ways and Means Chairperson Sherwin Gatchalian lamented that PAGCOR only penalized the 2 POGO companies allegedly involved in the abduction incident in Pasay City that was the subject of Senator Grace Poe's privileged speech in December last year. PAGCOR says the 500,000 peso fine was only an initial action of the agency, adding that the new head of their offshore gaming licensing department came in just last week. However, this did not sit well with senators.
So do you think the 500,000 pesos will deter them from doing this again?
Mr. Chair, I don't think so. That's why po
So why,
we will be
bakit hindi
doing
pa sila
this.
pinapalis?
As mentioned po by Mr. Attorney Consolacion, I have just gotten this appointment in this department.
But this is itong problema ng PAGCOR. Even in the position paper of your chairman, he's defending POGO. He said POGO is good, let's just regulate it. You're telling me after December 14, inimpose nyo lang sila ng 500,000 pesos and we are praying na hindi na nila uulitin yon.
Mr. Chair, we apologize for that, but we will really closely coordinate with the PNP and the NBI to resolve this as soon as possible. Rest assured po na tututukan po talaga namin ito.
Meanwhile, Gatchalian wants the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee to investigate the bidding process made by PAGCOR in selecting its third-party auditor, Globalcom RCI. The said auditor is responsible for determining the gross gaming revenues of POGOs to ensure that proper taxes are being paid to the government.
So in other words, nabudol po ang PAGCOR. Tama? Nabudol kayo eh. Walang Soler Chartered Bank registered with BSP. At the same time, you never went to their office. You never checked with the PSP, but yet you took their word for it.
Perhaps I can go to our records, Your Honor, and ask their comment on this, and maybe we can recommend that this contract be terminated if this is really an spurious document.
Senators also questioned the changing addresses of the company's office and lack of business permits.
If you look at sa baba, parang may sampayan, doesn't look like a third-party auditor office, no? Auditing POGO and receiving 6 billion pesos.
The lawmaker says they invited the company, but no representative attended the hearing.
They can be in cahoots with POGO or they can be in cahoots with PAGCOR themselves. Dahil in PAGCOR dapat pinag-aralan nila mabuti. The contract is long, 10 years. At ang binabayad natin, 6 billion for 10 years. That's about 500 million a year. In a nutshell, pag umalis ang POGO sa atin, hindi babagsak ang ekonomiya natin. Patibay na patibay pa rin.
Gatchalian adds they will look into the documents to be submitted by PAGCOR before finalizing the committee report. Hardy Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, public transport drivers fear loss of income as the new oil price hike to take effect tomorrow, January 24. More than 2 pesos per liter of petroleum products will be added. JP Nunez will tell us why.
A loss of around 200 to 300 pesos is seen by jeepney drivers with the new oil price hike expected to be implemented by oil companies starting tomorrow, January 24. To them, it was already a huge amount of loss as they also struggle to pay a lot of expenses such as jeepney maintenance, boundary, terminal rent, contribution to cooperative, and others.
Aba, kung 200 peso aabot siguro, malaki-impact talaga yun.
Pag tumas pa uli, wala na kaming kikitain halos na ito. Baka tama lang pangkain namin. Paano yung aming mga pamilya? Kung sa 1,000, di 300 lang babawa sa'yo.
Benedicto Asoge said he may soon look for other source of income if oil price hike continues.
Lugmok na kami ron. Kung lulugmok pa uli kami, hindi na kami bibiyahe. Kung kami maghahanap buhay sa disilin na mapupunta, mabuti pa magtanim lang ako ng kamuti sa probinsya.
Based on the announcement of oil industry players, an increase of 2 pesos and 25 centavos per liter of diesel will be added, 2 pesos and 80 centavos per liter of gasoline, and 2 pesos and 40 centavos per liter of kerosene. In the previous explanation of the Department of Energy or DOE, the oil price hike is driven by the economic recovery of China, which causes an upward trend of oil price in international market. With the new oil price hike, transport groups said they still want to push for their petition of fare surge for jeepneys or their request of fare increase only during rush hour.
Well, inaasahan namin siguro na itong pagdinig natin sa February 2 ay maging makabuluhan at kami ay paboro ng LTFRB gawangan itong mga pagsunod ng pagtaas ng petroleum product.
The Congress already increased to 3 billion pesos the 2.5 billion peso budget for the fuel subsidy this year which is intended to be distributed to public transport operators and drivers to cushion the impact of the oil price hike. Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB is still waiting for the transfer of funds and the guidelines for the system of distribution. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The House of Representatives has approved a bill seeking to protect and promote religious freedom in the country. With 256 votes in favor, House Bill number 6492, or the proposed Magna Carta on Religious Freedom Act, was approved on third and final reading. Lawmakers in Congress said it is the policy of the state to uphold and protect the fundamental and inalienable right of every person to freely choose and exercise one's own religion and beliefs. Under the said bill, it will be unlawful to compel by means of force to choose or not choose a particular religious group. The bill also provides penalties for violating said provisions, such as a fine ranging from 50,000 pesos to 2 million pesos, or imprisonment of 6 years and 1 day up to 10 years.
The Department of Health and other government agencies and the local government of Taguig signed the Joint Administrative Order on Monday, January 23. This includes the use of parks and open spaces as a tool to improve physical and mental well-being. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The city of Taguig promotes the Mercado del Lago near Laguna Bay as a place for everyone. This is after the signing of Joint Administrative Order or JAO by the City of Taguig and the government agencies such as the Department of Health or DOH, Department of Interior and Local Government or DILG, among others. Taguig City Mayor Lani Cayetano expressed the landscape of the city to be provincial-like that can be friendly for senior citizens, persons with disabilities or PWDs, and the public. Mercado del Lago is also open for sports and family activities.
Gusto naming ipakilala ang lungsod ng Taguig bilang isang lugar kung saan ma-enjoy ninyo yung finest amenities of a modern city. Pero kapag ka na-discover mo ang aming lakeshore community, mararamdaman mo ang tradisyon ng isang probinsya.
Meanwhile, DOH Assistant Secretary Dr. Beverly Ho said that the open spaces and parks with good ventilation, such as Mercado del Lago, can help individuals' mental and physical health. She added that communicable disease like tuberculosis cases in other countries reduced because of the better ventilation of open spaces, low density, and less congestion.
Better mental physical health kasi klaro na kapag binibigyan mo yung mga tao ng oportunidad na makapaglakad safely, etc., they will more likely do it than sobrang sikip ng sidewalks, etc. Meron din siyang more medical impact, So by saying you have open spaces, you essentially are also pushing for less congestion.
Dr. Ho also said Philippines is one of the top 10 in the most cases of tuberculosis in the world, and by promoting open spaces with good ventilation in National Capital Region or NCR, which refer as a high-density place, can reduce the risk of tuberculosis cases in the country.
We do expect na sana magkaroon ng impact siya, not only in case detection po ng TB natin, pero po sa mga cure rates din po natin. This year, hopefully, with better, bigger budgets para sa ating mga TB meds, we hope to have more impact on it.
The Joint Administrative Order by the DOH, DILG, and other agencies target to issue guidelines on the management, creation, and the promotion of parks and open spaces to be healthy and public-friendly. Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In efforts to deter potential aggressors, Australia signs contracts to purchase and invest in underwater sea mines worth up to $1 billion Australian dollars. Marvin Delphine tells us why. Live. Yes, Marvy?
Elsie, though it is yet to be announced by the government, the nation is expected to spend from 500 million up to 1 billion Australian dollars on the sea mines, signing contracts with weapon suppliers in Europe to acquire the weaponry. According to the Department of Defense, these modern sea mines would bolster the communication and security of the sea lines of Australia. Operated remotely, the sea mines can also be activated and deactivated in instances when commercial or friendly naval vessels need to travel through, as they can distinguish the difference between enemy targets and other ships similar to landmines. The Department of Defense is also constructing a complex system of multi-influence mines, which are triggered by different influences of vessels passing through. Last year, Australia's Defense Minister Richard Marles proposed that Australia needs to be like a porcupine island, fortified with a potent defense force that can deter adversaries, particularly from China. Meanwhile, the Australian government addressed plans of purchasing the HIMARS long-range rocket system, spending around $2 billion to strengthen the nation's missile capabilities. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Marvi Delphine, reporting live from Australia. 6 more classified documents were discovered after the officials from the U.S. Department of Justice conducted a new search of President Joe Biden's home. Ruth Bahe will give us the details live. Yes, Ruth?
Elsie, during the 13-hour search in Biden's home in Wilmington, Delaware on Friday, January 20, the U.S. Department of Justice seized 6 more items consisting of documents with classification markings and surrounding material. It was the 4th time since November last year that classified records were found at the address. According to Bob Bauer, the president's lawyer, some items were Biden's service in the U.S. Senate from 1973 to 2009, and others from his time as vice president under Obama from 2009 to 2017. The president gave the Department of Justice full access to inspect the entire premises, and they also took his personally handwritten notes as vice president. Meanwhile, Robert Hur, a special counsel appointed during the procedure, investigates how the president and his staff handled Obama administration classified documents discovered in Biden's private possession. Biden said during his trip to California on Thursday, his team has fully cooperated with investigators and turned over the previous documents found to the DOJ and the National Archives and Records Administration.
We found a handful of documents were filed in the wrong place. We immediately turned them over to the archives of the Justice Department. We're fully cooperating and looking forward to getting this resolved quickly. I think you're going to find there's nothing there. I have no regrets. I'm following what the lawyers have told me they want me to do. It's exactly what we're doing.
Elsie, by law, presidents and vice presidents are required to return official records to the National Archives at the end of their terms. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Ruth Bahe, reporting live from Vietnam. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
The Pinoy pop boy group SB19 bagged awards during the 8th Wish Music Awards on Sunday at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. Meanwhile, Wish 107.5 FM station says they will continue to support the OPM artists and help people in need. Gladys Tuwabi will tell us why.
Wisher's Choice Award. Pop Performance of the Year for the song Bazinga. Pop Song of the Year for Wyatt and Group of the Year. SB19 bagged the said 4 awards during 8th Wish Music Awards at the Smart Araneta Coliseum on Sunday, January 22. While Philip received awards for the category Breakthrough Artist of the Year and R&B Performance of the Year for its debut song Palayong. Moira De La Torre was recognized as the Artist of the Year and Ballad Song of the Year for her song Kumpas. 2 major awards were also given to Adi as Wish Song Collaboration of the Year and Wish Exclusive Contemporary Folk Performance of the Year. Winners received 25,000 pesos cash prize and 100,000 pesos for their chosen charitable institution. Meanwhile, special awards were also given to musical icons for their contribution in the music industry. KDR Icon of Music and Philanthropy was awarded to Andrea O. Veneracion Sing Philippines Foundation, while KDR Icon of Musical Excellence was awarded to Regine Velasquez. Wishers had a blast after witnessing the live performances of their favorite artists. Artists were grateful to Wish 1075 for its continuous support to OPM despite the pandemic.
Yeah, I just really love that I get to be a part of a movement and a family that continues to help and doesn't just take but continues to give.
The whole industry is actually very thankful for Wish. Kasi parang sila ulit yung nag-umpisa ng magkaroon ng excitement sa OPM because of the Wish bus. So, ngayon, talagang namamayagpag na naman ng OPM. Diba? Dahil sa tulong ng Wish. And nakakatuwa na you're honoring the artists, but at the same time, you're also helping their chosen beneficiary.
Meanwhile, Wish 1075 will continue to support OPM artists, the big and the new ones, and continue to help others in need.
Amid uncertainties, we were certain that we needed to share music and charity to the world. We battled great challenges head on, and with God's help, we will continue to do so with great hope in our hearts.
In the midst of pandemic, Wish 1075 has shown its support to OPM through the use of digital technology.
We have been and will always be proud to be of service to our country's best and brightest acts, because charity is at the core of what we do at Wish. We also are looking forward to extending a helping hand to those in need in our future endeavors. Tonight and for the rest of our days, may we all remember to look back with deep gratitude to God and look forward with great faith, hope, and love in our hearts.
Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the Global Prayer for Humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of Members Church of God International.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of 1 John, chapter 4, verse 7, it says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God, and knoweth God." And those are the reasons behind news January 23, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Harin Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.